The other thing that we're doing here in St. Vrain is our students are actually using social media to connect with the community. So building awareness of how they're working and what school means to them, and using that as a platform to promote the positive image of public education that we want our community to have.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hi, I'm Ben Churchill, proud superintendent of Carlsbad Unified School District in Carlsbad, California. We're about 30 miles up the coast from San Diego, serving 11,000 students in 16 school sites.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Maureen Brummett, Superintendent of Newington Public Schools. We are a suburb of Hartford, Connecticut, where there are 7 schools and about 3,900 students.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bourgeois. I serve as the Chief Technology Officer in St. Vrain Valley Schools. We are a school district here in Colorado, serving 33,000 students across 60 buildings and programs. We're located about 30 miles north of Denver in the beautiful Front Range area.
How has the prevalence of technology in the classroom impacted student learning and engagement?
Technology in the classroom has absolutely impacted student learning and engagement. Technology can add value, technology can be a force multiplier if used thoughtfully and intentionally. I believe we have to trust our teachers as professionals, trust their judgment in the implementation of technology as a tool. My dissertation was on the effectiveness of teacher professional development in the use of technology. What we found through the literature and our own research was that when teachers are supported, when there is job embedded professional development around technology, we'll see the greatest use of technology in the classroom. We'll see the most effective use of technology as a tool. It is a tool. Technology, like any other tool, can be used for good or for evil. We need to train up our teachers so that they can use it for the best way possible.
Overall, I think student engagement has improved as a result of technology. When I go into classrooms, I see teachers leveraging it in a variety of ways, a nice balance between personal instruction, but then having a video to accentuate it, or students being able to work individually on their Chromebooks on some sort of individualized lesson. So I believe it's largely an extremely positive addition to the classroom for engagement, individualization, differentiation. I think there's a lot of good to it.
When I think about how technology is embedded in our district and in our system, one of the things I think about is how we began our learning technology program almost 10 years ago. One of the things we did early on was build a guiding statement that still serves us well today. And that statement is, we believe that technology is a tool and a resource for students and teachers that helps them create, communicate, collaborate, and explore concepts and content and authentic contexts. It's a mouthful, but taking that as our North Star, taking that as our grounding statement has really helped us align the ways that we use technology, the resources that we provide, and the professional development for our teachers to make sure that we're keeping that at the forefront of our learning.
How can school districts deal with social media issues that might originate on a social media app, but then create a very real problem on campus, whether it's that afternoon or Monday morning when we go back to school?
School districts across the nation are wrestling with what happens on social media, off campus, away from the school site, and the impacts that then we see on the school site, on campus. There are challenges, absolutely. I think the first step we need to take proactively is to educate our families and our students on things like digital citizenship. We need to train students and parents about effective and appropriate social media use. It's really all about culture and relationships on a campus so that if something does happen off campus, online, our team can work with kids and families to address it. But we need to be proactive. We need to work in advance of these types of events so that we develop a culture of good online social media use, and then we can minimize the impacts on campus.
Well, that happens more than I'd care to admit, where we have an incident over the weekend or at night, and that spills over into school. So, what we have to do is launch an investigation and interview students involved, determine any safety issues, And we have the ability, thanks to a variety of sources, to look at students' history in their Chromebook that we utilize. And if it becomes a more serious issue involving law enforcement, they can actually get into IP address issues through their avenues. But it really does take some time to get at the heart of it. And we only really get involved if it impacts school operations. But unfortunately, issues that occur on social media often do spill into the school. So it does create something that we do have to address.
When I think about students and their use of technology, especially in social media, I have to remind myself that the social media landscape is really the playground of yesteryear. When I was in school, it was all about reputation and the alliances that you built when you were out on the playground. I think that one of the things that we think about often here in St. Vrain is how do we make sure that we're building empathetic students, students who appreciate that social media is the way that they're going to connect and make those connections for life with their friends and with their community. But remember also that social media is a place where they can learn how to be responsible adults. So building empathy and building that awareness of the importance of understanding that students are using these spaces in ways that help them connect, that help them learn who they are, that help them express their values and their passions, and then using that as a way to help them understand the impact that they can have when they choose to use those tools inappropriately.
Can you provide some examples of how your students may have used their social media in a positive or productive way that may have benefited themselves or their community?
I've seen a few great examples, particularly at the high school level, of students using social media positively in ways that impact themselves and their classmates. We have two comprehensive high schools here in Carlsbad, and I've seen the ASB, the Associated Student Body, which is the student organization on each of our campuses, effectively use TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram for communicating clubs, activities, sports, events, things that are happening on and around campus. A couple of our schools' TikToks, in fact, have blown up. We've seen our Loud Crowd, which is the team that supports our sports at one of our campuses, go really big on TikTok, and that only brings positivity to our schools and campuses.
That happens a lot. We have kids that have used social media as part of a project. Kids getting ready to apply for colleges do promotional athletic videos. When one of our courses at the high school, the kids create their own LinkedIn account as part of an FBLA assignment. We've had fundraising efforts, campaigning efforts. So, again, when used properly, social media and technology are huge assets to the educational world. We just have to balance that out with proper safeguards.
Let me share with you one thing that we're doing here in St. Vrain. So, in our technology services department, we actually invite students in every summer to be interns with us. And so those students learn what it means to be an IT professional. And as part of that, we actually help them develop their LinkedIn profile. We want them to see that their presence online can actually not just show who they are as a person, but can also launch a career for them and give them connections with experts out in the world. So I think that helping students understand that it's not just about learning their favorite song or connecting with an artist, but also connecting with professionals in areas that they care about is one thing that we really want to show. The other thing that we're doing here in St. Vrain is our students are actually using social media to connect with the community. So building awareness of how they're working and what school means to them, and using that as a platform to promote the positive image of public education that we want our community to have.
In the age of one to one, how are you and your district preparing students for positive technology use both in the classroom and at home?
In the age of one to one, we have to prepare students for positive technology use. We have to prepare them both for effective and positive use in the classroom and at home. This all starts with proactive education. We need to talk about digital citizenship with our students, but we also need to talk about it with our parents. It's all about culture and relationships. If we develop a culture where parents and students know and understand what's expected in terms of the positive use of technology, then we're going to get a lot further, a lot faster.
Well, here's a fun fact. In Newington, we were one of the first districts in the state of Connecticut to go one to one. So we've been at this for a long time. And in my previous district, I turned to Newington when I was launching my one to one in that district. So we've learned how to manage that so that you have a good system in place, that kids have ready access to working Chromebooks. protocols about proper use. We call it responsible posting, being a good digital citizen. And, we do teach a lot of lessons about how to use technology appropriately. There's board policy about that, which we rely on. And we do have the ability to look at a student's history so they know that they do have a digital footprint that we're able to look at to make sure that all of their postings are appropriate. I think when that's done well, you do minimize the problems that you can have when you use a digital platform. And, unfortunately, there are times when you have to go a little further. But again, teaching kids how important this is. We even tell kids, watch out what you put on Google searches or what you post, because future employers, such as us, would be able to check what you are posting. And you certainly don't want your first job opportunity to be a miss because of something you posted in high school.
A few years ago, we came together as a district to think more about, what was the message we wanted to send to families and to students about their online presence. And so we came up with a campaign. I'm going to share with you just this little piece. And what we call is being screen smart. And we really centered it around the aspirations that we want students to have for themselves, helping them understand where they stand in the world. And so the words that we used are being inclusive, making sure that you as a digital citizen are recognizing multiple viewpoints and appreciating the diversity of thought that comes with digital citizenship, that you're informed, that you actually pay attention to perspective and you think about the validity of media, that you're aware of how to be safe and how to interact in ways that are safe online, that you balance yourself, that you make sure that your decisions are informed and you're balancing your time in digital with your time in person, and that you use social media as a way to engage and technology as a way to engage, solving problems and understanding the impact that you can have on the world through your voice and your actions.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.